All right, everyone, let's salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Diana, would you call roll, please?
Committee Member Schell.
Here.
Committee Member Huber.
Here.
Committee Member Middlestad. Committee Member McMorris.
Here.
Chair Gordon.
Okay, so I call a motion to excuse the absence of Chair Gordon. Does anyone want to second that motion, I guess?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Do we say motion passed?
I think we have to vote on it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and, sorry, what's Dan's last name again?
Middlestad.
Middleston?
Middlestad.
Middlesead, okay, I'm gonna motion to excuse member Middlesead. Anyone?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. Ms. Lange, are there any late changes to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay. So next, we're moving on to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Do we have to do a motion for that as well? Okay,
Yeah, I read through the minutes and they seemed in order, so I would move that we approve the minutes from the meeting as of September 8th, 2025.
I second it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving right along. Is there any, looks like we have no public viewers today. Is there anyone online who would like to give a public comment?
I do not see anybody.
Okay. All right, moving on to business point number 1. The South Royal and South Wells Roundabout update.
Awesome. So I'm kind of excited about this. So to give you guys an update, the good news is we still have some work to do.
Yay.
There we go. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. So we did have a conversation about it, and there are a few elements that the council is looking for to still have incorporated. And one of those is a little bit more emphasis on the farming community that existed, you know, and previous to what it is now. So in having those discussions, I did bring a little bit of a representation of an idea that was presented. And I know historically there has been the discussion about not having farm implements in the roundabout or on the corners, right? And understanding what that concern would be for safety. And so when this was provided, I was like, that's actually really kind of interesting. That's a different idea than I think has been presented before. So I wanted to bring it to you all tonight so you could look at it and have a discussion. I know last meeting we talked a little bit about adding decorative cutouts on the wall, at the top of the wall, of farm equipment or names of the family farms that existed previously. And I thought maybe this could all tie together a little bit. So I brought this, let you guys think about it, talk about it. I do have it was a laser cut out of wood, and apologies, the middle piece on this one happened to break out, but I'm gonna bring this up so you guys can kind of see it.
And who made this again?
I don't know who actually made it. It was presented to me from one of the council members.
Okay. There it is.
Okay.
Question on, you know, how, what size are they looking at? I mean, I see this, and clearly this would be not the size that would go on there. It would be.
Yeah, it would need to be scaled up, and that would be up to kind of our decision and figure out what would be representative for the size of the roundabout itself.
Were they concerned at all about the material?
No, they didn't indicate any material that they had a preference towards, if that's the question. Yeah, my initial thought was sculpted out of metal, but I mean, it could be metal, it could be, bronze, which I think would get pretty expensive pretty quickly, but I mean, that could be, three-dimensional if you made it out of bronze.
Yeah, so they just want more emphasis on the farming community.
Yes.
Do you think if we made this, let's say we made this really big, like maybe almost life size or maybe a little smaller than that, and it wrapped around the outside of the roundabout, do you think that would be that would be really prominent?
Yeah, that's kind of the vision that I would have, is that it would be, bent to an arc and then placed like around the face of the knee wall.
Or on top of the
Or
knee
on
wall
top of the knee wall?
to protect it a little more?
Were they concerned at all about having just one, or having something circular, or just any other details that
Nope,
people
no
brought
other
forward?
details. Nope.
Nothing. Okay,
Just that they really wanted more emphasis put on the farming.
okay.
And then that model diagram cutout. We'll call it the cutout.
Cut out, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I could do a mock-up on the computer
Okay.
of what this might look like if it was enlarged and wrapped around the outside of the roundabout.
I mean, is this even intriguing to you all? Are you kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
liking this?
Yeah.
Is it given the vibe?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was presented by the prior mayor at one point, and I think at that
Okay.
point, the committee was appreciative and was quite interested in that. Thus, the discussion regarding names and other ideas that we had. And then at that point in time, while it was not set aside specifically, we focused more on the plantings then. So
That makes sense.
I think that this is definitely something we're interested in and have been.
Cool.
So, would there be more than one of these, or would there just be one of these, or what? What are what are you thinking?
Well, I could do a mock-up. I think you could have one around one side and then one on the back side.
Do we want variety, or do we want just a duplicate?
Yeah, I think we could talk about that. I don't know, this would not be cheap,
No,
of course, so
No.
that might be a
two might
factor.
be of similar, it might be easier to actually cut out.
But there could be like one with an ox or something.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a number of options that we could look at that would be, reminiscent of farming, whether it's something like that, or maybe a silhouette of a barn, a cow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if silos are popular here or not, but maybe a barn, and then we had some fruit trees, one or two trees that would represent that side of the agricultural aspects that we've had here in this area, so that might be a nice representation. I think the wording could remain the same if we wanted to do the wording. I don't think we needed to change that, just the scene itself.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think we could pass along options with and without the word
Correct.
at the bottom.
Right.
And let the city council decide, like, how literal they want it to be.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think the silhouette of a barn is a really interesting
I do too.
idea because it would be like an echo of what the area used to look like before it got filled up with,
And there still are barns around.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
but not in that specific area, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of a barn. Of course, a barn silhouette is a little more squared off, so we'd have to think about well, that's your job. The design of that, how would you do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
a
would
door or something, I don't know, be interesting.
yeah.
I do like the idea of some, laser cut metal. I know that there's a number of places that do that, and it's not terribly expensive. It's
Right, yeah.
and it is low maintenance.
True.
I mean, you could get a metal out there, whether if maybe stainless steel or
Maybe burnished, so it's
Yeah.
not really bright. If
Right.
With a street light hits it, or a car hits it, you don't want it to be too
not
reflective
reflective.
Too
at all.
reflective.
Right, yeah,
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 and not polished, right?
right.
yeah.
Can be burnished somehow. But I do like the draft horse, that's nice,
Yeah.
yeah, and the plow.
Yeah, suddenly we have a whole bunch of ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Was there any other notes? Okay,
No,
okay.
it was very brief, honestly.
all right.
So
Okay.
so Steve spoke to them and then relayed the information back to me. So,
My only concern then was thinking back on the, when we were looking at the plantings, just how this would work with the plantings. Will this impact what we're gonna visually see? So that's another thing to consider, because if you have too much vegetation, then this gets blocked out. So that might impact it, especially if it's the size you're thinking of, which I like. What kind of vegetation do you want around that? Vis-a-vis what we thought about with the trees and the
Yeah.
very shrubs, so that might impact what we look at in that direction then.
Yeah. It's kind of hard because I can't bend this,
Yeah, I
but
know,
like if
yeah.
you could imagine that it's
Sure.
bent, then and if it's like on top of the wall or directly behind the wall, then all the plantings will be behind it.
Right.
I wouldn't put it in the middle of the plantings.
Well, no, I wasn't thinking that either, but I would thought if the bushes are too big or whatever.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
it could.
But then if it's stainless, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. It could get a little busy, or but I'm not sure. It might work.
Right.
It might not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious, you mentioned that you would be concerned about it being damaged if it was on the face of the wall. Like, can you
Cars.
explain? Or hit by a car that would run in, so they would actually, crash into the wall then and
Well,
damage it?
I watched a couple of cars careen literally around the main one out here on Pioneer and almost run into the brick.
Yeah, I mean,
Just- People,
yeah,
drive
they've
oddly
had to
sometimes.
repair that the
Yeah.
grapevines so many
Yeah.
times, like at least once a year, because
Really?
of cars crashing into it.
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, see, they're nodding.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, I was just thinking, if we could shield it a little bit, then we won't have to pay to have it repaired if it gets hit.
And then again, maybe installing it on the inside of the wall would be less expensive than on top of the wall.
Possibly, I don't know.
Because of concrete, I don't know.
So what are some things that some other concepts that might work in addition to the horse and the plow? Like maybe an ox and cart, or maybe people bending over to plant, or like carrying, don't know anything about farming.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, maybe, I was just, like I said, fruit trees, a line of trees, I don't know. If
Like
we-
I also
Silos, I
the
don't know if
barn.
we had silos here.
a barn or a silo.
Yeah.
Those could be interesting.
A house then, maybe an old style farmhouse too, that has a few more stylistic aspects to it than a barn, but then I like a barn, so.
An old tractor?
There you go, yeah, tractor.
Or some other type of,
A wagon then, maybe,
farm equipment?
You know?
Yeah,
but then might be pulled by a
Tractor and
horse too,
wagon.
so.
may I add a thought?
Sure.
You could almost do like a progression of the technology in farming.
We just don't know anything about the progression of the farming technology, or at least I don't. We could do a little bit of research on it, I suppose. Yeah.
we could also do, one, like say 4 of them around the roundabout, so that we have one from each direction that the road enters.
Oh, that's a nice thought too.
Yeah.
So instead of something, 2 really large ones, they'd break it up.
They would have to be a little bit smaller. But that could be another option that we could bring to the council, is be like, do you
Yeah.
want one big one, or do you want 2 or 3 or 4?
So, I don't know if I'm trying to think of a progression of farm equipment. Here you have the horse and the plow, then you have a tractor, and then you have a combine and the like. I don't know.
Well, maybe
That might look a little, I don't,
without it getting too busy,
Yeah,
maybe
that might
just
get-
maybe just a plow on one side, a tractor on the other side.
yeah, I think that might be better.
What other thoughts do you have about a progression?
Well, I was trying to figure out actually what was kind of between the horse-drawn plow and then the tractor.
Yeah.
So I actually grew up, my grandparents had a farm and a dairy. And they grew hay and corn and silage. And all I can think of is they've always had tractors. And then, you know, us kids were their laborers. So I don't know what's in between either,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny.
You could do like an old farm truck.
Yeah,
too.
that's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Old
Yeah,
farm
something-
truck.
Yeah.
Like an old Ford or something, you know, pickup truck.
The quintessential 1930s
Right.
Ford. Yeah.
Big fenders,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
I think the thing is that this particular one gives you lovely profiles, so what is gonna give you a profile?
A nice silhouette.
Yes,
Yeah, it's all about the silhouette for sure.
exactly, and this is nice, without being overly busy, so,
Yeah, I definitely think this one we can definitely include.
oh, I agree.
And then maybe we could look at or try to find some historical photos of farming in the area for ideas.
I think sort of like one of those quintessential looks is a silo next to an old barn, and that's kind of a nice style.
Yeah.
And you could always do a barn with an open door so you see through it. And so instead of having a solid, maybe it's a door
Yeah.
or something like that, though I don't know how that would play out.
Are you still thinking of like a 2D cutout, laser cutout?
I would think it would be, well, yes,
Yeah, that's what I was
definitely
thinking
that,
too.
because I think financially that would be more reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
I can, if anyone wants to, maybe like a week before or a little before a week before their next meeting, I can send in some sketches. And so if the committee members want to look for historical photos, or if you have any more ideas, you're gonna send them to Diana, who can send them to me, and
Okay.
I'll work on incorporating a couple options
That's nice.
and a couple options for us to look at, and then we can decide which ones we want to send to the committee. Alrighty.
But how will we know, can we keep this, or can Diana hold on to it, or how?
Or
can
maybe
we-
you can send us a photo
Or send a
of it.
photo to us, yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
that's nice.
All right, should we move on to?
Do they have any comments on the rest of the roundabout?
Not really. I mean, they
They're just so quick, yeah.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the question really was, where's the homage to the farming?
Yeah.
Is really what it came down to pretty quickly. So they did, I was not relayed any comments necessarily about the plants or the plantings, because it focused around the farm history.
Okay. We have the direction now. All right.
All right, should we move on to business number 2? Ridgefield Roundabout's design approach.
Yes. So our last meeting, we talked a little bit about what the approach was going to be moving forward. Mostly, I think the conversation stemmed from not knowing exactly where we were going to head next. So Heather had sent this over, and my understanding is was some ideas that she had captured from your discussions in the past. And so we had originally talked about in November going through these types of things and really setting the framework of the thought process for roundabout design and how the approach, you guys really chose your approach and what your focus was. I don't know that we still need to talk about this in November or if we should push it off a little bit. It's up to you all on how you want to do that. We could very easily do 2 things in one meeting for certain. But I wanted to put this out there so you all could see it and start adding to it your thought process, and we can start discussing it tonight, or we can put it on to November.
Well, I think we could do both. You know, we could just kind of brainstorm tonight and then, come back and talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm sure
In November.
Heather will have more thoughts on it.
Right.
That's true.
Okay? I will take some notes.
Heather sent this to me over email, and so I had a few things I wanted to add to the art section.
Oh, good.
One thing I do want to point out real quick is that I did change it from design standards to design approach, just because standards in the engineering world has a bit different connotation than what this is representing. So just as a side note.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Right now it says art. For art, the only bullet point says creates beauty and reminds us of our local history and our local and regional identity. I think I would like to add some practical things. One, that art should be low maintenance. Another, that the art needs to be easy to understand from a distance, not so intricate or small that people are going to miss it. Because people are going to be seeing it from a distance. They can't walk up to it and look at it up close. And they're going to be seeing it very quickly as they drive by in their car. So it just can't be too small and busy. It has to be big and somewhat vertical. Another point is that, as was brought up just earlier, the art should be, whatever it is, it should be non-reflective for safety reasons.
Excuse me.
Couple of thoughts that I had on that same thing, and I agree with what you're saying, Kelly. I thought a bullet about supporting local artists would be good, and creates a visual interest. And I was a little bit unsure about that one in respect to, we don't want to have something that is so interesting that people are looking at it and not paying attention to where they're driving. But your comment about being able to see from afar, and I think that would kind of offset that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. The council has said before that they don't want anything too distracting.
Right.
They didn't elaborate what they meant by that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, another one was that the art should not invite people into the roundabout physically. We shouldn't have a bench or an art piece of art that looks like a bench. In the past, there were some suggestions of like a staircase that I think would just beg people to go up the stairs, or another one was a phone booth, it's gonna make people curious and wanna go into the roundabout. So, we don't want anything like that.
Not a visual attraction,
Yeah.
sorta, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have.
I was looking at the maintenance standards portion, and I thought it was well-written, but I would add that it would be important to, excuse me, maintain the ease of access for landscape and any necessary water or sewer access that's necessary there. So even though we're, that's important under the maintenance standards, that the landscape incorporate any concerns that maintenance has.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The one thing I wondered about, however, was when it said that the general statement was to establish a theme and/or some unity among the roundabouts. And so my sense in having been on this committee that the unity has been the use of native plants and the concerns on how these things are landscaped. But I don't see symbolism or anything else that's causing us to do that. And I'm fine with that. I think variety is nice because you're leading somebody one way or another. But I've always thought when you do look at a progression of something on a street or in a building even, it's nice to have a sense of progression. You're moving from here to there, from there to there. I'm not sure how one would phrase that, but I kind of see that as something that would be nice. Like I like the idea that we're moving from the main pioneer roundabout with the trees, and then we go make a left turn, go past all the construction and businesses, and you have the farming. So, and then you have the one that is focused on the natural habitats. And so I think it's being done, but it might be nice to somehow word that. I'm not sure how to do that. If you understand what I'm trying to get at, I'm not sure if I'm being succinct.
I think you're expressing the challenge that we've had this
Oh,
whole
really?
time.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
okay.
like, how much consistency do we want between all the roundabouts, or even what can we achieve, considering that we don't know which roundabout is coming next,
That's
and
true.
also committee members are always like coming and going. Like, how much consistency is even practical for us
Right.
is something we haven't resolved.
Ah, okay, good to know. Thank you. No, I mean, it is something to consider.
Could that consistency just be in the concept of telling Ridgefield's story in each one of the roundabouts? And, you know, this roundabout is more focused on the farming heritage of the community. I know the roundabout that we're working on getting the funding for the design for the canoe, the kids in the canoe, that also demonstrates another aspect of Ridgefield's history, and just kind of weaving those. The Discovery Drive with the sculptures with the birds in it that are going to be installed. That's another aspect, right? Bringing in all the wildlife that is here.
That would make sense, because I've thought, mentioned a couple of times, to have our web page that really focuses on that, so people really know what these are about and where our process has taken us, not just in the native plants usage, but the actual, what are we trying to do here, honor or express. So, yeah, this is nice, though. Succinct.
Yeah, I think that what you mentioned, Miranda, about the unity being Ridgefield history is kind of what I've had in my mind all along, but, you know, you said it better than I have, so, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like when you said the theme is telling Ridgefield's story. I like that.
That's very nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe put that there. Use that phrase in this little
Sure,
area.
yeah.
maybe added under the art, or I'm not sure where it would go, but anyway, or under general,
Yeah, general.
yeah.
Is there any other comments on this? We can always, keep thinking about it and continue to refine it more at the next meeting.
Yeah. Would you be able to send out a draft, of, incorporating these notes so that we can have time to chew on it before the next meeting?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, thank you. It's a good idea.
I'll send it to Diana, and Diana will distribute.
Perfect.
All right, should we move on to staff reports?
Sure.
Are there any staff reports? No?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm like, yes, I have one.
Oh, okay, great.
So the splash park, did you guys see that is opened? Did anybody go get wet?
No.
No, I didn't either. But I saw a bunch of kids using it, so we're really excited. It was really one of those, what was that, last Tuesday? When the temperature got warm enough and there were all the kids out there, and I happened to be down at City Hall and just looking out there, I was like, that's really cool. And, I was like, yeah, it's a splash park, it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. But it was really cool to see the kids out there.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
And then Boys Park, we are doing the ribbon cutting on Wednesday. So
Where's
if you've
Boys Park at?
North Pioneer Drive, I'd be better to show you on a map.
That was
Where's
like
that?
one of the questions I've had. I've seen stuff on Facebook about Boys Park, and I'm going, but none of the information said where the park is at.
We'll fix that.
Okay.
That's a great suggestion. None of us have thought that through. It is, let's see. I've got to get my map in the right spot. Right off of North 32nd Avenue. Here, I'll bring this up and show you guys. while I hold it up. So it's right up in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is Boyce, the homeowner, and then this is Boyce Park, and I'll let you guys drive since
So
I'm
this
not-
is 35th, so the
Oh, okay,
roundabout's
there's
up here.
DeMello. Here's DeMello Park, okay.
So
Oh,
this,
wow.
the 35th roundabout is up here, is that right?
No.
It's down lower.
Oh, down lower.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Oh, okay, gotcha, yeah.
No, I'm completely lost. I'm
Okay,
terrible.
here's Pioneer Canyon.
Yep.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
keep going down, there's the roundabout.
Gotcha,
Okay,
Okay.
nice. That's lovely.
How big is the park?
I don't know how many acres it is off the top of my head.
And
Find out.
and it's a city-developed park, and it's developed with city funds? and-
Yes. So this particular one has a pump track that was built in it. So it's a bike track where you don't actually have to pedal, and you'll keep going around it.
Oh,
So, yeah,
that's interesting.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have to
different.
take the kids there.
Yeah. Here, did you find it? Okay. So that is going on also. So that is the ribbon cutting is Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. And I believe there's going to be some ice cream down there, and there's going to be some professional BMX, I think they're professional BMX riders that are going to be demonstrating how to use the pump track with the local bike shop is going to be down there. So it should be a fun event. If you're able to join us, please come down. Another thing, so Pioneer Widening, we are making all kinds of progress on that. Tomorrow, we are bringing in back the stripers, the contractor's bringing back the striping crew because we didn't get everything finished last week. But there's not going to be, it's only going to be lane closures, not entire sides. And today, they poured the ADA ramp at North Royal. So that's, if anybody experienced that closure today, that's what was going on. So we're getting closer, is what I'm trying to say there. We're really excited to get this project done. Lighting should be getting turned on in the next couple of weeks, so the corridor will be lit back up. So, and then hopefully the roundabout will get opened. And update on the artwork in that roundabout at Discovery Drive. So, is it AGI?
ACI.
No, there's a local metalworks shop here in Ridgefield. They are teaming up with the local high school welding shop, and they are doing a field trip day down to the contractor's facility to allow the students to learn how to plasma cut the steel.
Oh,
And so our contractor is putting in the bases, and then the local high school is going to do the cutouts of the birds in the steel, and then we're going to install them. So they're really excited. You know, we've heard some kids say, I get to help build this, which I think is really cool. I mean, growing up, and not me growing up, my nephews and nieces growing up, they've heard me all over Colorado be like, I worked on that, and I worked on that, and I worked on that, right? And so to hear kids say that now too is just like, oh, my heart's grown 2 sizes. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to commend whoever came up with that idea. It's wonderful.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
It's really
because
cool.
it just involves so many people and kids. Oh, that's marvelous.
Yep, and it all
Yeah.
ties back to this committee. So
Wow.
that is what I have.
So the splash pad is open for real?
So that is a great question. That's absolutely a great question. So we are finishing up the testing this month. There are a couple of betterments that we're going to consider that would actually improve it even more that we will do this winter with council's approval if they decide that they want to go that route. And then it should be open for business in May. So all summer next year.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
nice.
But they have all of the piping and water things figured out, the problems they were having.
Yes, yeah. It was an ordeal and solved. So, yeah.
Really. Wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you for that update. I was wondering if you could give us an update on the roundabout at Pioneer and 35th. You said you're trying to find funding for the art. So is that just what the holdup is?
It is currently, yes. And at this point in time, no redesign is requested. Like, we want to just keep it as it is until we get that artwork installed.
Okay.
Okay.
Other
Alright.
questions?
Anyone else?
No, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next section from the committee. That's me. I have a PowerPoint to share. I see you have the printouts right here. It's nice. So I was saying to Tim at our last meeting afterwards that the art is really what's going to set the roundabouts apart from each other. I'm glad that we have this standard of drought-tolerant native plants at every roundabout, but if that's all there is, they're all just going to look the same, of course. And so I think it really comes down to the art to make the roundabouts interesting and memorable. So I just went online and just collected some ideas that I thought would be interesting for us. Not that we have to copy any of these identically, but just that they would give us some jumping off points. So this first one is these massive stainless steel feathers. And I thought this was interesting because it connects to our bird theme without being just literally a statue of a bird. You know, feathers are nice. And if we wanted to do sort of a less expensive version or smaller version, we could do like 3 feathers. Or even just 1 feather, like maybe set at kind of an angle or something and surrounded by foliage. It could be simple and nice.
So this is lighting in the evening.
Yeah, there's the
Oh, that's
daytime
very
and the
interesting.
evening.
Yeah, the lighting really is really fascinating.
Can we go to the next slide? This is another one that's bird related. This one was an exhibition in Ecuador that had 50 hummingbird statues on the street, and they were all painted by different artists. And I think what makes this interesting, what we could adapt, is we could have a statue of a hummingbird. Hummingbirds are pollinators and, you know, wonderful. Everyone loves hummingbirds. It's oversized and it's very colorful. And I think that's what makes it interesting. We could do hummingbirds again, or we could do the sandhill crane or any other of our native birds found at the refuge. So we could just have a big bird statue surrounded by foliage, and if it's really colorful, it'll stand out and be very beautiful. And hopefully not too expensive or complicated to install. Next slide, please. Another one I found is
The
falling leaves
Sounds beautiful.
stacked into towers. These are two different sculptures, one in Indiana and one in New Zealand. And the one in Indiana, I've also found a picture of it before the leaves were painted, and they were just the plain steel. I actually kind of thought it was a little prettier that way. I thought it had like just a more natural look, like the oak leaves do. So again, that's something that's vertical, so it could be seen by passing cars, and the leaves are really super oversized. So it'd be easy to understand from a distance. Okay, next slide. I've shown this one before.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I just love it. It is beautiful.
Bend.
So this is art by Rip Caswell, whose representative came to one of our meetings and introduced themselves. Apparently he's a nationally known bronze artist who's just moved to Ridgefield, and this is one of the samples on his website. And interestingly, he has prices for his pieces on his website, and the big public monumental sculptures range in price from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's a bit pricey, although his representative did suggest that he might be willing to give Ridgefield a discount now that it's his hometown. So it's something that we could consider. And just a statue of a deer or an elk, again, just surrounded by the foliage, the trees, seems like it would be pretty simple. This one is certainly not simple. You can see that they fabricated, I think, all of the rocks and the boulders to fit with the scene. So I'm sure this was extremely expensive. But something less expensive could just be getting one of his like pre-made deer statues and just plunking it in the roundabout.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Oh yeah, here's some of his other deer sculptures.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of deer. Okay, yeah, next slide. Yeah, and this is one he did for, yeah, somewhere in Tualatin. I'm not sure exactly where. So he did a flock of flying geese. You know, again, we could have something similar, but have it be cranes or any other of our native birds. If they're perched up, or like, I'm not sure how to put it, have a boulder and then the birds installed on top of that to give them some nice height to lift them up above the shrubs or plantings in the roundabout could be really pretty.
Yeah, especially if they were cranes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, next slide. This is in Auburn, and I think that is great, and it's a little bit of humor.
Yeah. McDonald's.
The humor, it's very memorable, and people want to take pictures of it, and I don't know, we wouldn't want to do this exact thing, of course, but I think it's just something that we might want to consider is to incorporate some humor, sometimes into some of the public art. Okay, next slide. I was looking for local indigenous artists who do public art, and I found this artist, Tony A. Johnson. I'm forgetting now if he's a member of the Cowlitz or Chinook tribe, but he is, I think maybe it was Cowlitz. And he carved these bronze oars,
Beautiful.
which are now outside the Burke Museum in Seattle. So that not only could we support local artists with our choices of public art, but also some indigenous artists, if we can find them. I didn't have a whole lot of luck in Googling people who can work with sculptural materials. But I'm sure they're out there, and we might be able to reach out to the tribes for more information.
I think these are wonderful.
Yeah.
I really, this is what types of things I would like to see in the roundabouts, kind of what my vision was. One of the things that I worked on when I first moved to Ridgefield was Public School Foundation. I helped set up that as a nonprofit foundation, and went out and solicited funds from people and businesses in order to get it started, and then the money that we were able to get, we would give back to the school in terms of grants and supplies and scholarships and whatnot. And I know that the city is always going to struggle to find money to build things like the battle, the elk statues with all that, but it would be wonderful if we could get something like that. And maybe that's something that needs to be considered is setting up a nonprofit foundation, and then going out and soliciting businesses to contribute to it and help build these things, to fund these projects.
And not just, if it was something like that, it wouldn't have to necessarily be limited to a roundabout. Then you could use if you were going to have art, there's what they're going to go down by the river there, and what they're going to do there with the gardens and things. You never know what might be available if you did something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe broaden it.
But it's a lot of work,
Oh.
it's a ton of work to, because there's lots of meetings and legal stuff that you gotta set up, and then you gotta go find the people to make the contributions, and businesses to make the contributions. That's not easy. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it takes time. I think from what I've seen, the Ridgefield Public Schools Foundation is now doing quite well. The standard when we set that up was this Camas had, pretty much all the school districts, not all of them, but a lot of them have their foundations. And Camas's was the one that we were looking at, is okay, we want to be like Camas, because they were pulling in hundreds of $1,000s a year.
Oh, wow.
And I think that they might be there now. So, there's been lots of growth and lots of businesses that have come to Ridgefield since 25 years ago when we got that started.
True,
Yeah,
that's true.
oh, that's admirable.
But, so that might be an avenue to get things funded. But, like I say, it's not gonna work wouldn't be able to do that for the projects we're looking at right now. It'd be more of a long term. And I think the city of Bend, if you remember, I had all those pictures of the
yeah.
roundabouts from the city of Bend. That's what they have. They have a nonprofit foundation that funds all those. And, they work with the city to do it, and the city just says, okay, here's your roundabout. Here's the utilities and stuff that you have to avoid, and I don't think that they have a lot of barriers or fences on, what the community can do.
Yeah, they're very interesting. I've
Yeah.
gone to Bend a couple of times and seen them. They're always surprising. They're just amazing what they've done. Beautiful things. It's interesting. 501c3, huh? a lot of work.
I think Heather would probably want me to mention here something that she wanted me to bring up is there's this program that she called SOAR. I couldn't find information about it, so I'll have to ask her again. But a couple cities, including the city of Longview, have this program where they set up a pedestal somewhere in like a city plaza or something, and then invite artists to put their art on the pedestal and advertise it as being for sale. And it can be there for like years. And so the city is basically getting free public art, and the artists are getting free advertising for their work. Yeah. And it kind of, they get a certain amount of time on the pedestal, maybe a couple years or something, or less if it's purchased. And then the city can also choose to purchase it as well. And so the art is being rotated occasionally. Different artists are getting exposure. I'm not 100% sure if that would apply to a roundabout or not, because I don't know how we would let people know that art is for sale if they can't like walk up to it
Right.
and look at
Yeah,
it.
there might be limitations for all of that too.
Yeah.
Maintenance, all of it.
And it would certainly need to be large art that is probably purchased less frequently than smaller art. But I think it's creative. It's a creative way of thinking about funding art.
Yeah. I always think about when I drive up 14 and we end up in Stevenson, and you go down to the river there, and there's this wonderful whirligig. And I looked it up. The artist actually is in Seattle. But this movement, it is so exquisitely beautiful, And they're all, this one looks like the different planets, and it's huge, but the wind is just moving it. Probably not good for a roundabout because you don't want to stare at it. But,
Right.
something like what you were saying, someone could put something like that. It'd be fun, just fun.
Yeah, maybe that would work for a park.
The park, yeah, down by the waterfront, which is where that one is too, so. Oh, we've gone astray.
But there's also, I love that idea of the move, the whirligig or the
It's just,
movement.
yeah,
And cars aren't the only ones that use roundabouts. There's also pedestrians and bicyclists, and so they would be able to
yeah. Well, if you haven't seen the one in Stevenson, you could probably Google it and find it. It's just amazing. It really is. It's colorful and, however the wind is moving, it's moving with that. It just all different directions. It's exquisitely beautiful. But
Yeah.
probably not for roundabout. Too distracting. But still.
Oh, great ideas, Kelly. Thanks for bringing these.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's just amazing, especially the Native American work is gorgeous.
That's all I have. Is there anything else?
Not for me.
No,
Okay.
thank you. It's
Anything
beautiful.
from either? All right, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.